Welcome to Do You Ever Wonder? The show that brings you answers to many of the questions that you may have, but with no one to ask. Do You Ever Wonder is hosted by Mike Haltman, CEO of Hallmark Abstract Service, who, like you, has always been deeply curious about a wide variety of topics. Each week, Mike will be speaking with guests who are leaders in their field and who have inspirational stories to tell. So now, sit back and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Do You Ever Wonder? Today, it's a pleasure. Today's guest has an extremely interesting background. So, if I'm not incorrect, he has spoken with 5 U.S. presidents. He's the first American street journalist, which is fascinating because that's become everyone's doing that now.
Yeah.
Everyone knows him by his first name, which again is incredible. And he was also the TMZ Washington bureau chief, which I watch TMZ all the time, and I have a few questions for him about that. But welcome, Colin Drummond, aka 10G Colin. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mike, and thanks for having me. And I love that title, Do You Ever Wonder?
Well,
That is good.
I don't think I invented it, but I was actually in the shower one day thinking about a name for a podcast. And I mean, the reality is that I do wonder a lot about a
Mhm.
lot of things, and everybody else does too. So, I thought about why not just have people on who are real leaders in a variety of different fields, and so I started it, and it's been great. And it allows me to meet fascinating and interesting and successful people like yourself.
Yeah, that is good. That's why I love podcasts right now. It's
Yeah,
another form of networking and receiving and also giving information that's valuable to others.
100%. I mean, we're going to talk about it in a little while, but podcast is all about branding. It's all
Hmm.
about increasing our reach, and it's also about providing some value to people that is just additive to everything that they're doing. So yeah, I agree. Podcasts are terrific. Um, TMZ. I'm assuming you've met Harvey Levin.
Yeah, yes.
Well,
Great, great boss, workaholic. He practices what he preaches in the sense of that work ethic and really digging and getting individuals to find your super strength in the sense of being a journalist and understanding how to get good stories to come out that other people aren't using.
right. Well, when I watched the show, it looks like, and I'm guessing they taped that in L.A.
Yeah, correct.
It seems like everyone really likes each other and has a good time together. Is that pretty much how it goes?
Yeah, it's chemistry because and I think the way it was always set up, it was always set up as, just like having a conversation, but about topics that people are interested in. So what happens is you get people in discussions in like real time versus like, when it's something that's set up and you don't know what's gonna happen. So, everything just is of the moment.
Right.
And of course, things are, going to be edited. Because it's, an hour long, but we're going to cut out the most interesting parts and the funny parts. It's television, but it's, all organic.
No, that's great. And you to go back to something you just said, things people are interested in or things that people wonder about. So
Yeah.
it's a great mix. So I got to imagine that TMZ Washington, you're dealing with a much different type of person than TMZ LA would be.
Oh, yeah. Especially this last, what I would say, 8 to 12 years. It's been totally different, but it's always been, I think what, being in Washington and now not just the political side of it, there's always a lot of interesting people that come from, and early on, I realized like it wasn't just always about celebrities. It was about, high profile people. Before we were talking about entrepreneurs, probably 15, 20 years ago, most entrepreneurs weren't popular like they are today. Today, a lot of entrepreneurs are celebrities because of social media and just because of access and things that they're creating. So, I had the ability to be in front of a lot of them, whether it was Elon Musk at the early stages of his career when no one knew who Elon Musk was. And, so you get, I was working on both sides, whether politicians and then, high profile people as well as athletes. So Washington gave me a good mixture where it wasn't just like all celebrities and then that was it. So it was kind of easier for me from that
So
perspective.
it's fascinating, when you see people on the TV show, how they find people to get to, like what, and again, just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
how did you find people? How did you find and locate and get to the people that you wanted to meet?
First of all, as always, they would always have to have an interesting story. So
Right.
it was topic first, and then it was the individuals because sometimes there would be someone who was an A-lister, but the personality or the timing didn't match, what was you would get out of them. And I think a lot of them realized early on that when you're just coming from a space of like just being yourself, it started becoming more acceptable. So me finding, where people were, and it was just all about building relationships and, working in a space where I know if somebody has a film today, they have to come into town, or if someone's, speaking on Capitol Hill, or somebody's going to a game, or, you have connections where people give you a tip on something like, hey, you might want to get such to eat at this restaurant and we're having them, so it was all about being, having those relationships, but also, making myself available to them in the sense of like, I want this to be a win for you. I'm not here to, with any gotcha questions or anything like that. I just want to humanize and show a different side of you to the public where it's not just the traditional, you come in a radio station, we ask you a bunch of questions, you say yeah, no, the same run-of-the-mill type of stuff. So they started realizing how different this could be, and people were seeing them from, an organic side of a personality, whether it was them coming from a coffee shop and we asking them something, funny about like, what type of coffee they put in there, or just different little things, and that just started to, take off. And then people started realizing the feedback they was getting, even when it comes to politicians. I had one famous senator say to me, he said, I could have cured cancer and went on CNN and wouldn't have gotten as much people call me afterwards, like when I get on TMZ, and just to say they saw me and just, the reach that it had. So, and I think the biggest thing is also, and this is the same thing in business and what people don't realize, sometimes it's almost like when you see or you hear a good record that's done good in the sense of it crossed over, whether it was a person at some country and they got a rapper on it, or it was a pop song that had a reggae artist on it, that combination really blows up. And so, my style has always been, if I'm speaking to an athlete, I'm not going to ask them anything about athleticism. I'm not going to ask them about sports. I'm going to find out about music. I want to find out about politics. I want to find out about celebrity stuff, so it makes them more wanting to talk, and, you get a better discussion. So that was, something that really worked.
That's great. I mean, I do a lot of networking for my business, and it's when you talk to people not about business, when you talk to people about
Yes.
who they are, what they do, what charities they like, what other ways that you can, and you're looking for other ways that you can help these people. Not help, but promote,
Right.
give them a more rounded personality. Really give them more of a face, not just the stigma or whatever it is of who
Yeah.
they are in real life.
Right. And they don't get the same run-of-the-mill stuff that's always asked to them, So I think, and it makes them, it helps them put their guards down in the sense of talking about something they like, or just like, okay, this is different. I like this.
So how
And
much time do you typically, when you were doing it, how much time did you get when you would approach somebody? And
oh,
how,
oh, these times it works. It can be something you go and you wait and you get somebody within 5 minutes, and sometimes it could be 5 hours. It's just like it's unpredictable, and it's the same way of you can get a piece of content that you think is good, and you might have like an A-lister, and you got them, and it's crickets. And the video doesn't go and being picked up by all these other outlets, or you think, and then you go and get another video and you do it, and it's a B-lister or somebody that's just up and coming, but for just some reason, something about the video or something they said, and the video just explodes, and it's like a game changer. It's almost like going viral. And this is the one thing, and I've just started saying this a lot lately, as I had a discussion with someone one time, and it's almost, and as we're speaking about TMZ is actually the first ones that started short form content videos that's really taken off. Everybody's doing it now on social media, but we've been doing it for, decades, and having it at a virality moments with like real big clips and, things that we understood the formula in the sense of. And if you look at what goes viral and what does well on social media, it's not the setup type of interview videos. It's the nonchalant, just, people seeing someone in just the original form. And
Right.
I think that's been so great.
It's a little kid saying something funny, or
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's 100% true. And I think it also feeds into the fact that Americans don't have a long attention span.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going and grow. Oh, yes. It's getting shorter and shorter. And it's just
Sure is,
people
man.
like things done quick,
They sure do. So, yeah, I mean, it's all. So now you have started your own company,
Yes.
VRPP.
Yeah, VRP Media, and what it is V is video reporting, producing, and publishing. And publishing is where the money's at.
Now,
So
what made you do that? What made you open up a company?
because what I've seen in being in the industry for so many years, and I see so many of the biggest, celebrities, high profile people at that level, but then I also see some of the struggling ones, and the ones who are even more talented than some of the ones that have been there, but they don't have that opportunity to get there. And it's a lot of these different things that they don't know. They think by just talent alone gets them there, or getting a great publicist is going to get them in the doors. So teaching them and letting them understand the concept of what video and what types of videos work, how reporting is so big right now, and anybody can be a reporter. And when I say being a reporter, it's just like understanding about being a journalist in the sense of like whether you're doing a podcast or whether you're with content, you're storytelling and producing. Everybody who has a phone now, when you're doing these clips, you're a producer. And the one key thing people really don't know how to do is publish. And when we talk about publish, that's where you monetize, and that's where you learn the real, owning your creativity and just being able to, put it all together. And I think that's what's going to help many people, not just from an entertainment perspective, but also business. And
So you're not just you're not entertainment, you're not business, you're not individual, you're everyone.
right,
Anyone who's looking to grow their brand,
correct.
increase their footprint. So, you talk about people who have talent, and I don't know if you've ever been to the coffee shop in Manhattan where the waiters and waitresses sing.
Okay, no, I've heard. I know they had one like that in New Orleans.
I
Okay,
mean, but these are
yeah,
aspiring Broadway actors and actresses, and at different points, you're sitting there, you're having, pancakes, and someone will get up on the table and sing, and they're
right,
unbelievable. The talent is beyond belief, and these people can't make it. They're
yeah.
working, and what differentiates them from somebody who is on Broadway? What was it that got the Broadway star versus the waitress?
Right. And I'll say this because some people underestimate, of course, luck, right? And everything is about timing. So I won't just say, and then of course, talent's going to be there. But when I look at two individuals and both have the same equal in talent, and one makes it and one doesn't, most people might say, oh, this person had, a better work ethic. But yet the other person really outworked them, but they were just doing the wrong things. And so many times we see that now. People are, doing the heavy lifting when they could have just walked around to the side door and just brought it in there instead of walking up all those steps. And by the time they get up all those steps, they, it still wasn't, the goal wasn't there. So, teaching people the right way as far as how to get exposure. And now when we're at a stage where social media means so much, but it's attracting and how to reach your core audience. And this is what works when people start talking about you before you even get in the room. This is where you start being able to multiply your talent. And I think that's what a lot of the talented people miss. They think just talent alone will get them there.
So let's take me, for example.
Mhm.
I own a title insurance company. I'm trying to meet real estate attorneys.
Mhm.
What would make the real estate attorneys talk about me before I got into the room? What would my methodology be that would inspire that kind of presence out in the world, that they would say, man, I got to meet this guy?
It's three simple things, Mike, right? It's number one will always be when the knowledge that you have that you're going to connect, because as in, trying to reach these real estate individuals, you're going to give them information about their business and why they need you that they don't realize. And you're doing it in the sense of doing it for free. Most people try to charge and get their way in the door by selling someone something first, instead of just pounding information for free. And I know it doesn't seem like, why would I have to, it took me all these years to learn these things. Why do I just go out and give it to someone where, I charge other clients? The reason is why is because they see that credibility and it already makes you stand up as an authority figure. So most people will pay you to do things anyway, even if they know how to do it. And it's the same reason why we go to the restaurant. There are many people who can make better hamburgers than some of these restaurants and wings and do all the things, but they want someone else, and it's called convenience. People will pay for convenience, especially when they know you already know your stuff. And, that's one of the things. The other things why they start talking about you is because they start seeing the things that you've already done and you already accomplished. And most people don't know how to get their message out in a sense of, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, because either they're too embarrassed because they don't want to seem like they're bragging on their accomplishments, and they don't know how to get people to notice them. So with the accomplishments that you have, and I'm not just talking about testimonials, I'm talking about most people in any industry, especially if you've been there for a while, that work inside out more than anybody else, right? But how do you get other people to notice it? And it's just, showing your wins and showing the simple things, that really work in how someone, because when we talk about anything, when you're helping someone, it's always about the other person. It's about, what can you do for me? They don't care all the things that you've done. Like, you have to tell it to them in a way like, this is how this will help you, because I've done this for such and such, and this is the steps they took to get onto that level.
You have to show them how you can add value.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's thousands of professions out there. So now when you're helping people, whether it's in real estate, in retail, sport, whatever it is, do you have to research and know that business, or is the recipe for helping them somewhat more of a generic thing, and you don't really have to know the ins and outs of each specific business, but just this is the recipe, regardless of what you do, of how you can succeed at making yourself stand out?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the way I always look at it and the way I approach things like, if I'm trying to start something new or I have a business, I want new eyes. I want, whether it's a younger generation or whether it's someone who totally doesn't understand anything, because we're at a time now where being creative is what works, and you have a lot of opportunities to see whether you split test things and just understand. But when someone who doesn't understand the traditional way of, this is how this works, we're supposed to do this, we're supposed to do this, we're supposed to do it this way, and you get the same old results versus someone who's just trying to really scale and take it and knock it out the park. And I think sometimes when we understand, like, this person doesn't have to, I don't have to quiz this person in a way of like, well, how much do you know about my industry? I only want to speak to people who speak the same language as me. Okay, I'm a customer, I'm a consumer. I might have used your product, but I don't know how you make it or how you do. But I can help you as to, the things that where like it might have worked better for me. And when you get those, those type of ideas, I think that makes a business grow. It makes a person's brand grow. And, just it's just always getting a new creative person's perspective on something, or a user to really dig in and find out. Most people don't reach out to their clients, don't reach out to the customers, don't reach out to past customers. And what happens is they think they're doing it great versus like, what could I have done better? Or what made you stop, purchasing this thing? And, most people just look at it as like, okay, they just tired of it or something like that, instead of doing the follow-up. And, even while it's working, why is it working? And these are the things that enables you to constantly grow and become that lifetime customer that most of us, really want.
So find out why your customers are happy. Find out why they're not happy. Find out what would make them even happier. That's the general idea.
And I think when you take the approach of, let's not look at it as like just a regular checklist where most companies say, hey, tell me why was this good? Or is it, when it's just, most people overlook that stuff. But if you're saying it, if I come to you and say, look, you've been using my product, my deodorant for, I noticed you've been using it for 6 months now and you haven't stopped the subscription. I'm so happy. How can I make this better? Give me the wildest thing that you think can make this better. So now it's gonna more engage you versus just a checklist of, do you like this? Yes or no? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you like it? Most people are just checking off these things and, just putting in a survey because you promised them, something, or, versus getting a real, people more involved. Because you look at it in the earlier days, and still what happens today in college, most college kids will break new artists in music. And it's the reason why is because they want to go back and say, I discovered this person first, and this is why most record companies and labels now, they'll always do the college tour first and get people, that grassroots. So it's the same thing with products. It's the same thing with going out and like getting the people know that they're building it just with you. And, I think those are the most successful brands and companies what I see now that do it that way.
You're making the customer feel even more important.
Yes.
They're not just your customer, they're your advisor.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great. So you also talk about creating true fans. What is a true fan?
Yeah.
My wife, I think she's my fan, but that's because she has to be. But what? Not really. But what is a true fan?
A true fan is like someone, and this is when I look at it, right? There's 3 types of, well, let's just say people, customers, right? Or what you can do to bring in customers, whether you do something that's sticky, you can do something that's viral, or you can do something that's paid for, right? The ones that are sticky are the true fans because you're doing something that they love. And no matter what, like, it's like, I can go on, you can go on, this is for any social media platform. There's going to be a creator or someone that you really like, right? And they're going to create content. And every time, whether it's a large amount of comments and likes, they're not going to knock it out the park every time with the content. Some of them are going to be lackluster and going to be okay. But those true fans are still going to love it, going to make a comment with it, and you're going to see, and they're going to do it on all of their small ones that didn't even do well. You can go back to it. And then, anytime we want to, like, if I want to source a specific, like, if I'm looking for, if I have a competitor in an industry, let's just say this person sells flowers, and I want to, I'm a big retail flower shop now, just open up across the street and they have all the business. I'm going to go onto their Instagram and I'm going to look at everything they do. I'm going to go into their Facebook. I'm going to pull up their Facebook library. I'm going to look at their ads. I'm going to see which one works. I'm going to see, then I'm going to go on their profile page. If they have, let's just say they have 12,000 followers and they get good engagement, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to find, I can literally find everyone that's a true fan that follows them, because I'm going to see from the low producing content that they put out there if this person engaged in it. If I put a spreadsheet and the 30 videos that didn't do well, and I go on there and the same names pop up in all those 31s, that's a true fan. And that's the one I'm going to go and follow, and I'm going to reach out to, and I sell the same product, and guess what? They're going to become my fans and my customer afterwards.
Interesting. So you will, I don't know if poach is the right word, but if I'm opening up a flower shop, I will approach and try and get the people who follow their stuff, who are fans of theirs, and I will show them why they should be a fan of mine.
Oh, absolutely. It's the same reason why, if you look at, there's a CVS on one side of the street, there'll be a Walgreens. They always used to be a McDonald's, then they were a Burger King. It's because there's enough in a business for people to choose, or people like both. There's different times, and you want to be the other one. And even better, you want them to do all the research and do all that stuff first, and you just come in and swoop them up a lot easier.
Right, but now you have to now create content that is on the same level as the existing flower shop that had all the fans in the first place.
This is the thing, and this is why this time it's a lot easier, right? You can stand on the shoulders of giants that's already done it, right? If someone is already being successful in something, like, okay, let's just say, for instance, I want to be a famous hairstylist, local in Miami, right? I'm going to go into, let's just say I'm going to go into TikTok, and I'm going to go into hairstylists, and I'm going to pull up this, I'm going to put hairstylists, and then it's going to come down, show me the best videos for hairstylists, and I'm going to go into the filter, and I'm going to go show the ones for this week, and then I'm going to apply it. It's going to show me all the best videos about hairstylists in, the last week. Then I'm going to look at the framework of all these different videos and see why it got so many views or likes. And that's the type of way you make content. You figure out the success that's already happening on that platform, because it already showed the algorithm an audience reason why they liked it. Maybe because it was 20 seconds. Maybe it was because the stylist was doing a certain hairstyle, and you notice these 10 videos just because they are doing cornrows, or they're showing the customer, or they're showing just hand movement. That's how I'm going to make my videos. So, and then you're going to put your own twist to it, but you're going to use the same formats that work for other people, because it works and it's already proven numbers, instead of trying to, dig there and trying to recreate a different scenario. It takes too much time, and it's not already proven, where you already have numbers right in front of you that's working.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. So in relation to what you were just talking about, where you're trying to attract the algorithm, whatever it is that algorithm is looking for, and recreate content that fits in that mold, where do you see AI is coming into this?
Oh, what AI is doing, either, and I look at it like this: some people think AI is going to take away jobs. No, it's not. AI is going to take away jobs. The people who use AI are going to take away the jobs from you, because they know how to use it. And the way you use AI, remember, AI is patterns. It understands patterns. And in any industry, there's always going to be, and I don't want to say shortcuts, but AI is going to help you not have to, do all the heavy lifting, in a sense of, like, I'm going to ask it the correct prompts to get me the desired results. And, there's so many ways now in any industry. If I want to create a marketing plan, I can't just say, like, okay, AI, create this marketing plan for me. I'm a roofer and I'm in New York City and Brooklyn, and I want to be the best roofer. Create a marketing plan. No, you have to, really say it in a way and break it down and say, hey, I want you to ask me these questions as I'm trying to be one of the top roofers in Brooklyn, New York. And this is where I'm at. This is the level that I know. This is all of a sudden. Next thing it's going to do, the machine is going to ask you certain questions, because now it's going to build you up to where you want to be, but it's going to understand everything about you and where you're trying to go. And then then it will spit out the things that you can get, and you have to be specific. I have a budget of X amount of dollars, or I have no budget, and this is what I want to accomplish in 6 months. So the more specific you are to using AI, the better results you're going to do and get and move you faster in any industry. And this is in any industry. I don't care. Look, and it can be in celebrity, it can be in regular workforce, it can be in school, it can be in, even right now, a lot of big teams, and they've been using this for years. We're just hearing about it. In baseball, they've been using these numbers with analytics stuff for years, right? But they've been pouring and spending a lot of money. Now the average consumer can get that same data as well. And we just have to know how to ask for it. And this is the hidden secret they've been having for years. And this is why they've been able to get ahead of everybody.
So we're running out of time, and you're obviously incredibly attuned and good at what it is that you do. So if somebody watching this wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Oh, thanks. I work with a lot of creators and business owners, and I have a program what I do every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and I go live, and I give everything where that's working the right now, not what happened 6 months ago, not a course on this, a course on that. It's demonstrations. It's how do you really scale? How do you grow? And I do it on a level for anybody. And it's a group I have, and it's 10gclub.com, and people can sign up. And I do it where because I know most people say, oh, everything is about money and stuff like that. I don't. I charge $97 for the year. And the reason why I make it so small is because I want people to invest into themselves. Because if they do something, then they're going to pay more attention to it. Whereas the value is, it's a program within a little bit of time is going to be, probably $1,000 a month. Right. But I just do it, early on these stages right now, because I'm trying to build up a lot of content and get people some wins, because what's happening right now on so much of these social media platforms, we're at a time now where so many people can grow. So, this is why I do it now. Well,
you know what? You might have a new member. I'm gonna potentially join that. I need to learn how to do this better. Yeah. But you've been a phenomenal guest. I really enjoyed our time together, and I hope that sometime in the future we can get back.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Mike.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Do You Ever Wonder? And we hope that you enjoyed the show. Next week, we will have another terrific guest telling their story. And if there are any specific topics you'd like to hear more about, please don't hesitate to let us know. Our curiosity, like yours, knows no bounds. Please subscribe and like and share this episode on your social media. See you next week.
Oh, hello.